So we're going to be reacting to Hybrid Librarian's channel today in their video, and this is going to be called History's 10 Most Mysterious Disappearances. Now, for those of you who don't know who Hybrid Librarian is, Hybrid Librarian I also hold in that same regards when it comes to Dark Five's videos, okay? Dark Five's videos are basically the same as Hybrid Librarians, or vice versa. Well, as far as, before Dark Five started narrating their own videos and stuff. But Hybrid Librarian I hold in the same regards because around the time that I subscribed to Dark Five all those years ago, I subscribed to Hybrid Librarian. And these two channels in particular are the channels that kind of given me that love for countdown channels and the subjects that they have, like the scary supernatural subjects and whatnot that they cover. So I'm also gonna, and you can tell that this is gonna be a re-reaction, as in this is a video that I've seen and reacted to at some point in the past, but I just forgotten what the contents of the video itself had in it. And the reason why I'm doing Hybrid Librarians, even though I said I was just going to be doing Dark Fives, is because Dark Five and Hybrid Librarians videos are basically one and the same thing. So let's go ahead and hop into this video. Ugh, boy. Most disappearances can be explained with trails of... Oh, shit. Sorry. Most disappearances can be explained with trails of clues that can lead to some sort of explanation. But some are so strange that they create more questions than answers. See, this is what disappearances... These are the disappearances that I'm interested in. The ones that can't be explained so easily. And this video, or I'm sorry, Hybrid Librarian's channel, their music, their songs on these videos do bump a little bit. So if at some point in the video you can't hear me, just let me know so I can like at some point if I react to another one of Hybrid Librarian's videos, I kind of like lower the volume down on these videos a little bit so you can hear. Let's do this. The Merchant Royal. In 1641, after 3 years spent trading with Spanish colonies, the Merchant Royal, a 17th century English merchant ship, made its way back to England, having accepted a detour in Antwerp to carry a treasure which would be used to pay soldiers. But the ship experienced rough weather about 40... I'm about to press the wrong button. About 40 miles off the coast of Cornwall, and sank with 18 of his men. Many missions have been launched to locate the Merchant Royal through the centuries, but all have failed to find the remains of one of the most valuable wrecks of all time. Is this what that show, The Outer Banks, is supposed to be based off of? The wreck of that ship? Because I could have sworn that ship in the show had the same name. And at least 100,000 pounds of gold, nearly $1 billion, 400 bars of Mexican silver, and hundreds of thousands of coins have yet to be found. Dude! The Forgotten Legion. Marcus Licinius Crassus was a Roman general and politician who played a major role in the building of the Roman Empire. He was defeated by the Parthians and beheaded near what is now Iran in 53 BC, but rumors have persisted that 145 of his men were captured and sold as slaves in the region. Some have suggested that the inhabitants of the remote western Chinese village of Liquan, whatever, may be the descendants of the lost legion. Many villagers have Western characteristics, including green eyes and blonde hair. Shit, that might be a possibility then. And DNA testing have shown that nearly 2/3 of them are actually of Caucasian origin. The Kinross incident. On the evening of November 23rd, 1953, an Air Force radar controller was alerted to an unidentified target over Lake Superior. An investigation was immediately launched, and a F-89C Scorpion jet was sent from Kinross AFB. Piloted by First Lieutenant Felix Moncla with second. Damn, they go by so fast. And okay, piloted by First Lieutenant Felix Moncla with second and radar operator Robert Wilson. Sorry. The radar controllers watched as the two blips of the F-89 and the object became closer, before mysteriously merging as one single blip on the screen, which then disappeared before the astonished gaze of the controllers. Various search and rescue operations couldn't find no trace of the plane in the face of Lieutenant Felix Moncla and Lieutenant R.R. Wilson remain unknown. The Ghost Yacht. The Cause 2 was a catamaran that departed for a trip around Australia on April 15, 2007. With three experienced and careful yachtsmen on board, owner Derek Batten and his brothers Peter and James Tunstead. First observed by helicopter on April 18th and described as drifting dangerously towards the Great Barrier Reef. It was found 2 days later far from the shores of maritime authorities, who caught up with the boat and boarded it. Three-man crew was missing in circumstances that were described as being strange. And that everything was normal, there was just no sign of the crew. That be the weirdest ones, the Lost Colony. Now, I think I might, out of all of these, I think I might know about this one in particular. Like the Lost Colony, there's actually been a couple of channels that talked about this particular colony, because I think they're talking about the whole Roanoke thing and stuff. But what am I trying to say here? Whenever there's a channel that does like a video on mass disappearances, I think they're usually talking about this. Unless they're talking about a whole different colony, then you know. In 1587, a man named John White set sail with 114 passengers from Roanoke Island, like I said, to establish a colony off the coast of what is now the state of Virginia. Okay. But just as he arrived, the war between Spain and England broke out, and Queen Elizabeth I called on every available ship to fight. After 3 long years away, White was finally able to return to the colony, but nothing could have prepared him for what was awaiting him. No trace of the colony remained, not one person, not one building. Apart from the word Croatoan carved into a post on the fence around the village. Name of a nearby island inhabited by peaceful Indians who White would describe as friends and allies. So, like I said, same thing, man. Many hypotheses about their fate have been raised through the centuries. Could they have been abducted, killed, or simply assimilated? The 1956 B-47 disappearance. On March 10, 1956, 4 B-47 Stratojets belonging to the 369th Bomb Squadron, damn, that's a lot, took off from MacDill Air Force Base in Florida for a non-stop flight to they going by so damn fast, to Ben Guerir Air Base, Morocco. Forgive me if I mispronounced that. Each carrying 2 capsules of nuclear weapons material for a routine deployment mission. The four bombers began descending through solid cloud cover to begin their second refueling. But one of the Boeing B-47E-95BW straddle jets failed to descend out of the clouds, simply disappearing with its three-man crew. Despite an extensive search along the Moroccan coast, no debris were ever found, and a crash site has never been located. The mystery of Flannan Isles Lighthouse. The Flannan Isles are a group of rocky and desolate Scottish islands, also known as the Seven Hunters. One of the largest, Eileen Moor, is a rocky cliff-edged island on the top of which is perched the Flanagan Isles Lighthouse. Continue. Where a mysterious event occurred in 1900. I'm sorry. Something's like distracting me over here. Like my brother. Where a mysterious event occurred in 1900 as three lighthouse keepers disappeared without trace. The first hint of anything suspicious came on December 15th when a boat reported that the lighthouse's light was not working. A boat was quickly chartered to the island to check on the men, but nobody was there to welcome them and the entrance was locked. Once inside, they discovered strange details like a stopped clock, unmade beds, and a meal cooked and ready to eat on the table. They could find no trace of an incident and searched the entire island in vain. No reason behind the disappearance has ever been found. The MV Joyita. Well, I think that's what it's pronounced. In 1955, after more than 20 years of good and loyal service, the reputedly unsinkable ship Joyita was ready to make its last trip. On this fateful journey, it departed of the oh my god, these names is killing me. Tokelau Islands with 25 passengers and crew on board. I'm sorry if I'm butchering all these names, but come on, man. But never reached its destination, seemingly disappearing in the South Pacific. The ship was spotted 5 weeks later, partially submerged and missing 4 tons of valueless cargo. 620 miles away from the island and nowhere near where they were supposed to go. Much speculation has surrounded this event, as not a single person has ever been found dead or alive. The Valentich disappearance. Frederick Valentich was a 20-year-old Australian pilot who took off on October 23rd, 1978 from Melbourne bound to King Island. During the flight, he radioed to Cape Otway to complain that an unidentified aircraft was playing games around his Cessna 182. Is that what that's? Cessna, okay. He can be heard describing the object as having a green light and sort of metallic look, being all shiny on the outside and flying over him at speeds he could not identify. That strange aircraft is hovering on the top of me again. It is hovering and it's not an aircraft. Okay, those are his exact words. Were his last words recorded? No trace of him or his plane have ever been found. The Mary Celeste. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it. I'm sorry. November 4th, 1872, Captain Benjamin Briggs was about to leave New York for Italy when he met an old friend. Captain Morehouse and he had served as sailors together and realized they were about to sail a similar course across the Atlantic. But Briggs had to depart on the Mary Celeste 7 days earlier to deliver his cargo in time. A week later, the Gracia, I don't know, of Morehouse stumbled upon the Mary Celeste. Stumbled upon the Mary Celeste. Okay, so his friend ended up finding the boat that he was on, that his friend was on, Briggs, drifting 600 miles from Portugal. There was nobody on board, supplies were intact, and the ship showed no evidence of piracy, mutiny, or any sign of hurry. The personal belongings of the crew and passengers were still in place. It was just as if they all vanished into the air. The fate of the crew and passengers of the Mary Celeste remains one of the strangest mysteries in history. Yeah, you like that, huh? Okay, so since my camera's about to die in like a good 10 minutes or so, instead of just going through each video, I mean, honestly, Librarian, they kind of explained at the beginning exactly what the theme of all of these videos are going to be, all these stories are going to be. Most disappearances can be explained with trails of clues that can lead to some sort of explanation. Right. So the most mysterious disappearances, it's only a mysterious disappearances when there's no explanation as to why these people ended up disappearing. Like this one, for example. Like, come on now. This has got to be one of the most mysterious ones on this list, because this dude was flying in his plane and then all of a sudden he just disappeared after complaining of another aircraft or unidentified object flying around him, playing games, and then all of a sudden him along with the ship is just gone and never heard or seen from again. Like it's my PlayStation, y'all. Let's see here. And the most mysterious ones about it, like I said, my camera's about to die, so I'm sorry if I have to kind of like rush this, but the weirdest things about these ones are the ones where everything is just like, at least when a person like disappears, at like the pilot, for example, like at least you could chalk it up as, okay, he probably like crashed somewhere in the ocean or whatever, and they just couldn't find his body because the plane or whatever got like swept away by the currents or something. But when it, like the lighthouse one and the ship one and stuff like that, when you see stories like that where, you know, people just go missing and everything is just intact as if they just vanished out of thin air, those are usually the creepiest ones, because it's like, where did they go? The lighthouse one, somebody had to go check because the lighthouse went out, and they go there, and the people, the lighthouse workers ain't even there. The door is locked, and it looks like they had just made a meal that was prepared to be eaten. So it's cases like that that are the most mysterious ones, where people just up and vanish as if they were in the middle of doing something and was just taken away abruptly. You know, those are the most mysterious ones to me personally. And this is like one of the reasons why I love Librarian. I mean, even though it's kind of the same as Dark Files videos, it's still somewhat different as far as some of the things that they cover. It's kind of different. So thank you guys for watching this video with me. I put the link in the description box below so you guys can check out Librarian and a couple of their other amazing content that I've seen on their channel over the years. And I will see you guys in the next video. All right, peace.